Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk to you quickly about what we're going to do this week. And this is Module 1, our first real learning module for the course, even though we're in week 2. And we're going to dive into academic argumentation. Um, so, on the agenda for this chat that I'm having with you, we're going to talk about the assignments for the week. Those would be the graded assignments. Then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the readings or texts, and then we're going to look ahead to talk about why this module is important in terms of the rest of the course. So we'll start with our assignments. You're going to have a reading guide for Chapter 1. That's a before, during, and after reading guide. And so, as the name of this type of reading guide suggests, I've got questions that I want you to answer before you read, as you're reading, and then after you read. There's going to be a discussion about making claims and examining assumptions. And then there will be a very brief mastery quiz that will tell me, yes, I've done the work in this module and I'm ready to move on to the next one. The Chapter 1 reading guide, this is where you can locate it here on the left. It's in our Module 1 folder. I also linked it directly into the overview just for ease of use, but it's downloaded here as well, or linked here, so you can download it. So what you're going to want to do is download it, open it up, and answer these before you read questions first. So I asked you to do that in this module overview. If you did not do that yet, please pause this video here and go and do that now, because I want your impressions before you start taking in the content. I want you to start thinking about your own opinions, what you already know about academic argumentation. And so that works best if you answer those pieces. See these first two questions in the document. You'll answer these before you do anything. So there are a couple spoilers coming up, I guess. So if you would, please pause and do that now. Okay. Now, the readings and texts, Chapter 1 of Ramage, Bean, and Johnson's Writing Arguments. That's just our e-textbook. From here on out, I will likely just call that our textbook. And it is linked, again, in the course resources folder of our course. So you can always find it there. And in that chapter, they talk about what an academic argument is not. So some of the ways, we use the term argument, we use that word in common parlance, and it is not the same thing that we mean when we talk about it in writing, in composition. So what is an academic argument? We start with what it is not. Then we move on to explicit versus implicit arguments. We talk a little bit about those. Pay attention to that. Okay, there's a question in your reading guide about it. Claims and assumptions or warrants, the assumptions that underlie a claim are also referred to as warrants. So you'll learn a little bit about those. And keep in mind, as you're reading this, you're looking at those as you read questions in the reading guide and responding to those. Kind of keeps you active as you're reading. They're going to talk about 3 elements or features that define an argument. Okay, and this is where I'm giving you some spoilers because, again, this is a question on your reading guide. So they talk about how argument requires justification of its claims, how argument is both a process and a product, and how argument combines truth-seeking and persuasion. So in your reading guide, I'm asking you to explain a little bit about what those 3 defining features of argumentation mean. And then I would like you to watch a very brief video, I think it's less than 5 minutes, called What is Argument? And I like it because it kind of gives us a little bit of insight into what kind of evidence, what kind of justification that we need to make in the academic world. And looking ahead. So I want you to pay particular attention to the scenario, I believe it's on pages 11 and 12 of our textbook, where the authors describe this continuum between truth-seeking and persuasion. Because the process that they describe, the example that they use there, the process that she goes through, she starts doing research. She has an interest in a topic, so she does all sorts of research, and she starts to synthesize that research, meaning put it together and talk about how it forms sort of a body of knowledge. She's building her expertise. on this through this research that she's doing, through this academic research, and she writes about it. She writes for a general audience. Okay, so that's very similar to what we're going to do in our first major paper for this course. You're going to have two major papers for this course. You have a synthesis paper, and then you have a researched argument paper. So the topic is going to be the same. All right, so the first paper that you'll write will be doing tons of research, academic research, which may be new to some of you, and that's fine. We're going to learn how to do it. You're going to learn it here, and we're going to talk about it together. You're going to build your expertise, and you're going to write to me, to the course, to your classmates, okay? And you're going to sort of share with us the synthesis of this research. Then we're going to build on that essay. We're going to use parts of it, not directly, but we're going to or we're not going to just copy and paste it, but we're going to use what we learned in those arguments or in those papers to do a proper researched argument where you think about who is the audience? What am I trying to convince them is correct or that they should do, or whatever the case may be? You're going to put what you've learned to use to make a clear position and craft an argument. So that's going to be your second major assignment, the sort of culminating project for this course. Okay, so what you learned this week is going to be essential to your success in the course. So I really want you to pay close attention. These are sort of foundational elements that we're talking about. And please, absolutely, as always, feel free to ask questions if you have them as we go. So thanks so much, everyone. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.